The minute I started to realize that making mistakes is a part of life, I think is the moment life started to get a little bit easier. I think I lived my life living at this very high expectation of myself. Whatever I do, whatever I try, failure was just not an option. I was like, I don't ever want to fail at anything. I just want to do well at things and be happy and be successful, all of the above in whatever I do, whether that's my career, friendships, relationships, anything. And that really restricted me for a long time. The feeling of needing to do things right the first time and not get it wrong and fail, and admitting defeat was just not ever an option. I think the second I realized, okay, you're human, cool. You're allowed to make mistakes. Mistakes are actually okay. Failure is just one more step to finding something that fits better for you. That was the minute that I just started to realize, okay, the world is so much bigger than I made it out to be. I put myself in this little box and I went, these are the things I'm good at. So these are the things I'm going to stick with because I don't want to be perceived as being bad at anything. I don't want to be perceived, even by myself, as being a failure or being subpar at an activity, a hobby, a career, anything like that. And I think that really limited me for a long time. And I talk about this in my perfectionism episode, but that need for perfectionism and that strive to just be the best and give my absolute all to everything really confined me for a long time in literally everything I did. The second I realized that letting go of something and understanding that this isn't going to work out and moving forward is the minute I started to be more compassionate with myself, be more understanding with myself, and realize that the whole point of life isn't just to excel at everything. It's to try different things and figure out what fits the best for me personally, and that might look different for everyone. And it's a very no one shoe fits all situation. And I think that's why societal pressures really get to people, and those timelines and expectations of, oh, when you're at this age, you should be in this kind of job or this kind of salary, or you should have a family, or you should have a house, or you should have a car. All these weird, arbitrary pressures get to us because we think we need to be up to a certain standard. There's some sort of imaginary line that society puts when we reach adulthood that makes us think this is what we need to do. And I think in the era of self-exploration, for me, the biggest thing was to let go of those thoughts and those values and those beliefs. And that has freed me to try so many different things that I never thought I would have tried before. And it has caused me to find different things that I love that I wouldn't have thought to even start. For example, I just started a Pilates instructor course. I started Pilates a little over a year ago. I had thrown out my back and posted a funny story on my Instagram because I was literally just trying to sit on the floor. Like, I bent down to sit on the floor and I completely threw out my back, and I was out for 3 days. And I was in Korea at the time. I was traveling, so I posted it to my story being like, do I need to see the emergency room? I don't know. I was just venting to my friends. And a lot of people said, no, this is normal. Like, if it gets any worse, go to the doctor, obviously. But for this kind of pain and this situation, this has happened to me. And I had a few people reach out to me and suggest Pilates. And I am a gym goer. Like, I like to go to the gym. I like to relieve my stress by lifting heavy weights. I did CrossFit in the past. I did heavy Olympic lifting. I've tried that in the past and really loved it. And I see a lot of benefit. However, I could see the wear and tear it had on my body. So I moved more towards just regular strength training and left it at that. And I always kind of thought Pilates was just kind of fluffy. I always thought it was like very aesthetic and really cute, but it just wasn't for me. I don't think I'm that kind of picture that I put of a Pilates person. I wasn't super flexible. I wasn't super slim. I didn't have all these matching clothes or whatever. Like, I had this idea and I was like, I don't really fit that archetype. So I think I'm going to continue this way. But then all these people started recommending to me and I went, okay, I'll try it out. And I booked a Pilates class immediately. And I went in thinking that I was just going to be amazing at it and it wasn't going to be that hard. It's a lot of lying down. And I was very humbled. I was not prepared for all the different adjustments, everything. And I kind of fell in love with it immediately because I was bad at it. And it was so weird because, like I said, I've always been this person that wanted to be good at things, and I pick up on things easily. So I know immediately if I'm going to be good at something or not. So I think growing up, I was like, immediately, if I was good at something, I would stick to it a little bit more. But if I wasn't, I was like, whatever, it's not for me. But really, that was really deep rooted in I just didn't want to be bad at something for so long. I didn't want to have to put the effort into practice because I wanted things to come naturally and easily to me, because I would see these people online or on TV that were like, this was my calling and this was what I was meant to do and it's very easy, da, da, da. So I was like, okay, I want to find easy things for me. That is not the case. And I've definitely learned that that's not how life works. So when Pilates kicked my ass, I was like, I'm going to continue with this. And I did private classes for a long time. And it really helped strengthen my core. It really helped me find balance in my body, reconnect with my body. And I just felt so amazing. And I wanted to do the Pilates instructor course because one of my instructors said to me, you should look into doing a Pilates instructor course. Like, I think that'd be really good for you. And I was like, no, I could never, like, I'm such a beginner. I don't know. And I don't know. And I've always been interested in the fitness side of wellness and health, but I just never made that leap. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I would. It made me really nervous, and it's very similar to this type of stuff. It was important to me. It's something that excited me, but I was too scared to try it because I was afraid of failing. And so when this Pilates instructor course came up, I just didn't even think about it. I just signed up, which was crazy. And it has been so far the best thing I've done. I'm not saying I'm going to become a Pilates instructor full time and that's going to be my whole career change. I really wanted to do it just for me too, to understand my body better, understand Pilates better, and to deepen my own Pilates practice. But it has been so fun, and the idea of teaching really excites me, and it's just like a whole new thing that I'm trying out, and I'm not good at it right away. Obviously, it's like the first couple classes and I'm like, I'm so lost, all these terms and all these movements, like it's very difficult, but that's why you practice, and that's why you have a mentor, and that's why you have education and all these things. And so I keep learning, and even in just 2 classes, I feel like I know things better and I am more confident, and it's just very exciting. So that's my whole tangent on trying something new, stepping out of that comfort zone, and realizing that being bad at something is actually a great thing. And that's, I think, one of the first things I realized when I went through my divorce. I went through a divorce 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know. It feels like it was forever ago, like a whole lifetime ago, because it was. But when I got divorced, I was so scared of ending that relationship because I was scared to be a failure. A divorce is a failure on marriage. I really committed to this, and I got married really young, and a lot of people told me this isn't going to last, and I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to prove that this love can beat anything, and it made me put rose-colored glasses on a lot of different issues because I was so determined to just make it work. When I realized that that wasn't the case anymore, and even after separation, when I realized like this isn't going to work out, this isn't healthy, and this isn't what I want. This type of dynamic is not what I want. It's not something that I am wanting to work on, or I don't think it can even be worked on, and move past it. That just gave me so much freedom, because that was my biggest quote unquote failure in my life, and it didn't destroy me like I thought it would. I really thought my life is over. No one's going to want to be with me. I'm never going to date again, but that's okay. I've come to peace with that. Like, I'm just going to be this independent person that is just alone forever, whatever. Like, I had all these different ideas, and that was very much not the case. I went out into the world, I met people, and dating came very naturally again. And it was like I had put away a part of my relationship because I had just considered it a failure. I put it in the failure box and put it away and said, I'm not going to try that again. And I did end up trying again. I did end up meeting people. I did end up cultivating really meaningful relationships and just learning from everything. Every single relationship and every single failure, quote unquote, made me learn about who I was as a person, what I want in a partner, what my boundaries were, all these types of things. If I could talk to pre-divorce me now, I would just say listen to your gut and listen to what you want to do, because failure isn't as scary as you think it is. I would probably try to make myself realize that I've been running away, afraid and fearful of failure for a long time, because the couple times I really experienced it on a deep level, it really hurt me. I think I was young and didn't have enough life experience to realize that life goes on. Like, I think in my early 20s, I definitely thought like, this is it. Everything past 25, anything past 30 is nothing. And now I'm 32 and I'm like, you really should have listened to those people that said life just gets better as you get older. And I don't know, I'm just going on a million tangents as per usual. But the fear of failure just puts us in this little container, in this little tiny room that we're comfortable in. Freeing ourselves from the fear of failure by just attempting new things and attempting things that we know we're going to be bad at and fail at is just such an important exercise to live life to the fullest. That's my opinion. When I left my job as a therapist, I was very burnt out and I was looking for something different, but not right away. I needed to rest and I knew I needed to recover. And in that recovery period, I set out to try new things that I knew I was bad at. Things that I told myself that I would never try in a million years because I just know I don't have any skill in that. And I just said, screw it. And I tried it and I was really bad at it, but it was so fun. And I met cool people. Like, I tried acting classes. I tried making a film. I tried making a podcast, all these things. Certain things stuck, obviously, and certain things really did not. I was just exploring and trying to find which parts of different things I liked. I really loved the acting bit where I got to portray stories or talk about stories or tell stories. And then like the whole filmmaking process, I loved editing videos. I loved taking videos, but I didn't love the directing aspect. Like, there were all little bits and pieces that I loved, but I was just trying to figure out how do I bring those in together and make different projects or do different things. I just found that part to be so fun, and I wish I had started that sooner and younger. Just kind of like let myself screw up a little bit more. Maybe it's like a immigrant daughter thing. Maybe it's like a working class family, like the dynamic I grew up in. I was very hyper aware from a young age of the work my parents put in to put me in certain positions of going to a certain school or being in a certain school district or whatever. Like, I just knew that they work so hard. So I was just like, I cannot fail. Like, failure is just not an option. Even when I was working as a therapist, I saw this very, very frequently in people, particularly women, but men too, just everyone in general. They had this thing about, I can't fail because my parents work so hard for me to be here, or I work so hard for me to be here and get to this place, so I cannot fail. It puts this pressure and just like I said, puts us in this little room and in this little pressure cooker over a room where it just builds and builds this anticipation of something to succeed or fail or whatever. And it's a lot of stress. And I think that takes enjoyment out of a lot of aspects in life. That part is just so important to remember, because I think if we had a little bit more space, if we gave ourselves a little bit more space to explore, we would actually succeed more. I definitely think social media plays like a double-edged sword in all of this, because on one hand, you have the highlight reel, people sharing the big events happening in their life, the big successes, the big achievements, the big goals, all these types of things. And then on the other hand, you have people that post more real, authentic content that is the ups and downs of everything. And I think that people gravitate towards a certain type of content depending on what they're looking for and what they find more relatable to them. I think that no matter what content you're consuming, just having that in the back of your mind of like, this is what people choose to put out there. This is not a reality thing where you can actually see what's going on in everyday lives with everyone. Some people might put up a highlight reel and be going through a really, really tough time. Some people might be putting on everything bad, good, whatever, but realistically, it might not all be exactly like that. Like, at the end of the day, we just have to put our kind of critical thinking lens on and go, okay, this is social media, this is what people like to share, but it's not all there. Not everything is there. The deep discussions with other people, the self-doubt or the judgment or the obstacles that we have to go through every single day, it's not all out there. I guess the main takeaway I want people to have from this episode is just give yourself a little bit more freedom and a little bit more space to fail and understand that it's okay. I want to just challenge you to try something new this next week coming up that you know you're going to be bad at. It can be something really small. It can be something really big. It can be trying something that you've been wanting to try for a while. It can be looking up a different hobby to try, whatever that might be for you. I just think that it's just so important to just attempt, because no one's going to be good at everything the first time. And if you are, great, but that's not the norm. That's not the baseline. That's not the expectation. The expectation, I think, should be to fail. And when you fail, how does that feel for you? Are you like, okay, I actually didn't care that much? Or do you care so much about that failure that you want to try again? And you're like, no, I really, really want to try again. And this is a lot of self-exploration and understanding yourself and understanding how your brain works as well. Because on one hand, you might be the type of person to go, I don't like that feeling. I don't want to do that again. But then you need to go a little step further and be like, why does that bug me so much? It actually bugs me that much? Or is it because I don't want to fail? Or is it because I really care about this actually secretly, but I don't want to admit that to myself? You know, there's all these different layers to us. And I think it's important to kind of sift through everything and see where these thoughts and emotions and values are coming from. And I think trying something different and trying to break free from that perfectionism and try to do something that you know you're not good at, or just give yourself that space and compassion to be bad at something in the beginning, is such a good exercise to figure out where your mind's at and where your values lie and what is really important to you at the end of the day. You know, the whole point of all my episodes is to get you thinking and to help people reflect on their own lives, and also to help people feel a little less alone in whatever they might be feeling. So if any of this resonated with you, that makes me super happy. If any of this made you think a little bit deeper into how you think, how you are in the world, or how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, my job is done. But I would love to hear what you thought in the comments. If this brought up anything for you, or if this did resonate with you, didn't resonate with you, please feel free to leave me a little comment or send me a message. I would absolutely love to hear from you. But yeah, if you've hung out with me until now, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if you're joining me in the morning, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're joining me in the evening, I hope you have a restful night of sleep, and I'll catch you next time.